today I'm going to make a tiny winter garden using my drill and a couple of Tupperwares that I got from the store and also from takeout. And then I'm going to plant lettuce and bok choy and these, they call them bunching onions. I call them spring onions. I have my potting soil here by Miracle Grow. I have a nice little ceramic pot with a tray underneath to catch the water. And give me a second, I'll show you how we do it. So first off, get your Tupperware onto something that you don't mind putting some holes in. So I'm using the back side of my cutting board. So it doesn't really matter how long the screw is, it just really matters that it's thick so that the water can drain properly. So here goes. Okay, dear viewers, I had a couple of issues. What happened is my Tupperware snapped, and so I had to find another tool. So I ended up finding a very small little Phillips head, I guess it's called. So what I'm going to do is get the end of it and just tap it a little bit, and so that it doesn't break. And then what I'm going to do is get my Phillips head and kind of squeeze it through, and then there's my hole. This is an imperfect science, so what has happened here is now I have a couple of big holes, but what it's okay, because what the end goal is to put one on top of the other, and then what that does is it gives me enough room to be able to have some drainage. So we're gonna live with it. So have a little experimentation. This one kind of didn't do that well either, but experiment with it a little bit and you will probably have a better outcome than I. But isn't that the fun about gardening anyway, is that there's a lot of trial and error in it. So at the end of the day, you're going to have wonderful flowers, plants, whatever you're growing, fruit, vegetables. So not doing anything is worse than doing something imperfectly. So, all right, on to the next step. So here we go, we're going to fill it up. I'm just going to use one of my Tupperwares as a tool to help me fill up my beautiful ceramic. Okay, my two potting. So in the little guys, I'm going to put in my bok choy and my bunching onion, because that's what I'm going to do. So one is going to have the bel joso, and the other one is going to be clear. So that's how I'll know the difference. So what I'm going to do is open my plants. Just take the top off. And I'm just going to do one seed. So the seeds are really, really, really tiny. So I'm just going to carefully try to get one, and I didn't do a very good job. I got a lot of them. But I'm just going to pick up one of these seeds with my fingers. I'm going to plant it right here. I'm going to get another seed. I'm actually going to do 3 in one pot, because I am going to harvest them young, so they'll be like baby bok choy. So then I have 3 seeds. I push them down just a little bit, and then cover them up with some dirt. No need to add any new dirt, just cover them right up. You don't really have to cover them up that much, because you want them to be able to germinate easily. And then the bunching onion, so now I took my gloves off. Maybe it's a better idea. So here my onion, I'm going to put in 3 as well. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to cover them up as well. after you've planted your seeds, it's time to water. So just put a little bit of water where your seeds were. Get a little bit more water, just because it's hard to see where the seeds were after you've planted it. So just do a good guesstimation. There you go. Now you're gonna have to wait a few days for them to germinate, and then after they're done germinating, you're gonna start seeing little saplings come up, and then you know you're on your way to having a little garden. So check back in a little while and see how our garden is growing. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on this journey, and I'm going to continue to record so that I can monitor this progress. Thanks again, guys. Garden update. The garden is now about a week old. We are currently in February 7th, 2021, and as you can see, some things have done better than others. The lettuce is coming up beautifully here, but it's funny to see how it's kind of deviated from the line that I drew. So you can see that that was the line that I drew to plant the seeds. But what ended up happening is the seeds lifted up a little bit and moved when I watered it. So next time I plant, I'm going to water first and then stick my seeds in it so that it's a little bit more neat. And over here, my bok choy, I only got one bok choy that came up, and none of my spring onions came up. So I was a little naughty, and what I did is I just put a garlic clove in there. It had started to sprout, so I said, instead of cutting off the little green shoot, why don't I just plant it in there? So we'll see how it goes. I must confess I'm probably going to put in a couple more seeds because I want to give my plants a chance to grow. All right.